Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Welcome back to Conversations with Karina. Before we get started, let's just dive into our divine prayer. Divine light, surround me now. Shield my mind, heart, and spirit from all harm, doubt, and negativity. Guard my intuitive gifts and the visions I receive, keeping them clear, pure, and truthful. May only supportive energies from the highest vibrations flow through me and guide my understanding. Protect my insights from distortion, fear, ego, or unwanted interference. As I hold my crystals, they anchor me in peace and strength, grounded in the highest vibrations of love and wisdom, all the way down to the core of Mother Earth. Thank you, Source, for the shield of divine protection that surrounds me always, allowing me to share my intuitive truth with courage and compassion. And so it is. So today I have a message from Spirit, but it's actually a spirit none of us would know. This message came through from a reading I had just done with a client, wonderful woman, and she has given me permission to talk about this because it was something that had come through during her session that was very, to me, was very valuable information from Spirit. And it turns out that she came through the next day to me in Spirit wanting me to talk about this. So let me give you a little bit of insight how this came through. And like I said, once again, I do have permission to talk about this story. So we were doing a session the other day. I was doing a session the other day with a client, and obviously at this time, so many of us are clearing traumas. It's just the thing. It's what we are all doing. We are all being asked to clear because those that have done and are doing the work, and you're moving up in those vibrations. We're in that new earth realm. And so we're being asked to clear a lot of what is left with inside of us or that has been put on us, or childhood traumas, past life traumas that, are part of this life that you're still dealing with, that kind of thing. So we were having our session, and she was telling me certain things that had occurred in her life, and they were definitely traumas. And as we kept going into this conversation, it just kept getting more and more clear of what was trauma, what she needed to deal with, what she needed to let go. And it was actually beautiful because her traumas, she could pinpoint certain things in her life. And as soon as she did, it's like, of course, it related to some of the things I had already said or that came up. So definitely we meshed and we were figuring this out together. And it got to the point where we have to go back and deal with these traumas. And she has done a lot of spiritual work. She's a very gifted woman herself and is on the right path very spiritually. And she had talked about, even she felt that she had forgiven her mother, that kind of thing. And so she wasn't really even thinking that those were still traumas within her. But if there's things that keep coming up in your life and they're regurgitating, and you still have thoughts about them that come in, and they give you either uncomfortable feelings or memories that didn't feel so good, that's stuff you need to clear. It's Spirit's way of telling you, can you pay attention? You need to deal with this. So it is something that comes from spirit when you keep getting that information, and sometimes it's those things you don't want to acknowledge or recognize because it's like, oh, that feels so uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with that. But it's there for you to deal with. And it got to the point where I had told her, you need to go back in time as a conversation and talk to your mother. And she had pointed out that she's done all this work and she felt like she did forgive her mother, but it's still there. So the trauma is still there. So you're not over it. And as we kept going through this, I said, you have to go back and just get it out. Have a conversation with her. Yell at her if you need to. Just get all this stuff that you felt that she did to you that was wrong out. Tell her. Tell her how it made you feel. Go back. She doesn't have to be in your presence. Spirit can hear you and they'll listen. And I kept reiterating that, and she understood. But in her sweet meekness, she said, I don't want to yell at my mother. I forgave her. I don't want to yell at her. And her mother came in at that moment and said, yell at me. Yell at me. Get it out. Get it out. She didn't care if her daughter yelled at her. She's in spirit. She knows it's okay. She's not yelling at her because she's trying to tell her off and never, I don't want any part of, no, you're just getting out that trauma that was inside of you. Because if it keeps replaying, it's still there and you have to go back and confront it. You have to tell that person, whether they're in spirit in front of you or somewhere else in the world, it's still energy that you're releasing, and words matter. Putting those words out into the universe of, I'm done with this. I don't want to carry this anymore. This isn't my burden anymore. It's past. We're done. I need to let this go. And this is how you made me feel. Why did you do this to me? It's okay to do that. It's okay because it's an energetic release. And this was the most beautiful part. And this is what I want to talk about. Because as when she told me that, and trust me, this woman's not meek, but I could feel her voice go very tenderly into, I don't want to yell at my mother. But her mother came in going, yell at me, get it out. And she did give me the knowledge that the mother went through her own struggles. She had her own traumas. And a lot of the situation that occurred when this woman was a child was because of the mother's trauma, the mother's childhood traumas that she experienced. And so when situations would occur in her life with her own children, she would be triggered. And her traumas came out onto her children. Of course. I mean, our parents, they have their own issues and traumas. We can't just assume because they were our parents that they're going to create this completely safe, traumatic-free environment. That just doesn't exist. Even if you have a amazing childhood, you're still probably going to have a little trauma here and there. It's just humans. We do this. This is what her mother showed us when she was saying, yell at me, yell at me. Because what's happening is when you yell and get that out, you're having an energetic release. When you sit there and kind of go, oh, I'm so sorry, and or I forgive you, and I don't know why you did that to me, and that doesn't get the energy that's stuck in there out. Oh, I mean, she kept saying, you have to get mad. You have to get mad at me and just release it. And when she will do that, the mother showed me this, which I've never seen this before. So to me, this was pretty incredible. Her mother showed me from spirit's perspective that when you have that release, whether it's yelling, whether it's a conversation, however it needs to be for you, but yelling kind of just gets the energy out. It's a bah. She showed it to me as don't feel bad. Don't think that that's hurting us on the other side. We're spiritual beings. We already know the answers now. So we need you to yell at us. We need you to get this energy out. And here it comes as she's showing me her daughter getting this out. Her daughter's words became musical notes. Musical notes. So as she was showing me her daughter yelling and getting this stuff out, why, how, why, everything you would need to say or want to say turned into musical notes. That's how spirit heard those words. They weren't words of how dare you or how could you or why. They understand the why. And, her mother made me understand she's so sorry those things happened, but she was dealing with her own struggles and trauma. But when you do that, when you have that release and they hear those words come out, their musical notes, she showed that to me as clearing generational trauma. And I know I've talked about that so much because those words and the energetic release that she had was music to their ears. I don't have ears, but it was music to their ears because she showed it to me as not only is my child clearing her trauma, she's clearing my trauma and my mother's trauma and her mother's trauma. This was generations and generations. That's how spirit heard our energetic release, even if it can be a little bit aggressive or angry, or they don't care about that. They're just happy that you're releasing it because you're helping them. You're helping them. Not only are you helping yourself, but you're clearing generational trauma. And then, we went on with our session, and her mother came and said a few more things and apologized for the life that, you know, she put on her children. And from the other side, they know better. We talked a little bit more, and a few more things came out. Her mother was very generous with her information and love and support. Wanted her daughter to do this work and get it out because it was really heavy in the family, and she's helping release that. We talked a little bit more and then ended our session. And we've been in communication since, because even the next day, I had emailed her because her mother kept coming through to me. And her mother kept focusing on those musical notes. Finally, she gave me the message, would you please tell people that? Would you please get that message out? And at first I was like, well, are other people going to understand what the musical notes mean? And the message I got from her was, it's so significant that you tell people because they need to know don't be afraid to clear that. Don't be afraid to yell at who you need to yell at, or, be angry for a minute and get it out. Why hold that anger inside you? Because that's what you're doing. You're holding that anger inside. It needs to be released. Spirit doesn't care how you release it. But, she showed it to me as the best way was to just go back, have that conversation with that person that wronged you, or you want to say something. You can either write a letter, you can say it, whatever feels more powerful for you, but words matter. Words are a vibration. So spirit is vibration. Those words really get to spirit because it's vibration. And they're listening. They know. But it was really, really important for her, for me to talk about this. So I emailed her daughter and told her her mother had come through. This was what she was coming through with. And I laid it at her feet, letting her make the choice if I could talk about this because, obviously it's her experience, but she did recognize that her mother would want to get something like that out because she realizes that her mother did have her own issues and she probably meant well most of the time. Sometimes their predicaments are bad too. She was very proud of her mother for wanting to get that message out. And what her mother showed me too is that if I were to get this message out for her, it also helps her even on the other side. You're still learning lessons and you're still evolving. Once we get to the other side, it just doesn't stop. We still can evolve. We don't have to be just here as humans to evolve. We evolve on the spiritual side as well. So she was asking me to get this message out for her to help others and to make you understand that releasing trauma and generational trauma is very important because you are helping the collective and your spiritual ancestors, your ancestors, move through their trauma too. That's what she wanted me to really make clear is that our trauma, when we release it, becomes musical notes to spirit. It's music to their ears. It's glorious. We may think it's challenging, it's hard, it's uncomfortable. It can cause physical pain, it can cause emotional pain. But for her and spirit, it was beautiful musical notes. Because as we release this trauma, we're raising our vibration. So what are we? We're closer to them at their vibration. So they have an easier access to us as well. We're closer to spirit when we release all that stuff that weighs us down. And she's actually here with me today. She says hi to her daughter. My gosh, thank you. Thank you. You know who you are. She's like, tell them about yourself, Karina. Okay, I will. I'm facing my own trauma right now. I'm facing something I have to let go. And I'll tell you what it is. And it sounds so simple and silly. No, it doesn't sound silly, but it sounds so simple. Maybe in times it made me feel like it's silly because it's something everybody does every day of their, a lot of people do all the time. But for me, it's a very traumatic experience. By now, some of you may know that I have the opportunity to go see my dearest BFF in New York. I get to go meet up with Rosie. We've been together for so many years. We've talked, we've seen each other on the phone, but we've never met in person. And she got tickets to go see Kamala at her book tour. How could I miss that? How could I not be there with her? I mean, to us, Kamala is one of the reasons why we're doing this work. I want everything to work out to where I can be there. But here's the thing, and I have her next to me. She's actually supporting me through this because she's saying, Karina, say it. It becomes musical notes. So I have this trauma about traveling. I do. I get severely, severely motion sick to the point of being violently ill. And when I say violently ill, I mean violently ill. Like I could heave so hard, I break blood vessels in my eyes. I stop breathing because I'm choking. I'm throwing up so hard, so it becomes very violent. And usually when that happens, I need somebody around me because I have, it's scary. And I've had so many experiences with motion sickness and travel, and some within the last 3 years that were so traumatic. I can't even process the fact of me getting on a plane or having to deal with all that commotion or that energy or flashing lights or chaos. I'm also a person that needs to be very, very grounded. So to have my feet off the ground, even on a 2 foot step ladder, I can start to spin. So to be up in an airplane, I just can be spinning. And so it created this massive trauma in me. It's a cellular memory, it's a core memory, it's deep, deep rooted. And I've always wanted to work this out. This is kind of one of the last really hurdles holding me back in my own life is being able to be mobile and to go again. As a young person, I got to travel everywhere. I had grandparents that lived in Europe. And so for the summers, not every summer, but a lot of them, my parents would put my sister and I on a plane. Off to Europe we went. My brother would stay home. That would be the summer they'd pull it. They'd have an exchange student from usually Japan and or Europe too, but we always kind of and then if my brother went, then we'd get an exchange student for us. So it was just really the coolest thing. But I traveled, my sister owned a travel agency. We went all over Mexico, we went all over Hawaii, we went all over Europe. And yeah, I did get a little motion sick once in a while, but it wasn't nothing I couldn't control. But now I just can't control it. And so that scares the bejeezies out of me. So it's also a deep-rooted fear of the unknown because when I was really sick, for me, things could change within seconds. I'm not kidding. 1 minute I could be sitting there going, I'm having a great time. Seconds later, it could hit me and I'd be sicker than a dog. I just couldn't, there was no warning. There was no, oh, I'm starting to feel yucky. I need to get out of here. No, it would just be bam. So I have a fear of being somewhere where I'm not familiar or comfortable and having an episode. And I haven't had those in a very long time, but I also haven't traveled again in a long time. it's just not a good experience for me. But here's the thing. I'm trying to guide you guys through releasing trauma. So how could I sit here and not try to release my own trauma? Because it's holding me back in my life, and I don't want to be held back anymore. This isn't who I am anymore. I can release this. I can let this go. These are experiences that caused deep trauma, root core memories, subconscious trauma. We can work on that. We can release as much as we can. Now, I do have some skeletal issues that does, lend to having my equilibrium be off a little bit. I get that. I can work with that. I've got my C bands, I've got the little watch that pulses. I can even ask a doctor for a nausea pill if I need to. But it's the fear of not knowing if I'm going to be okay or not. And if I'm alone, what do I do? But I woke up to this message from Rosie with the tickets of us going to Kamala. I can't look away from that. I need to be there. I want to be there. So I'm determined to work through my own trauma. I didn't think I'd be faced with that part of it so quickly. And here's another way spirit works for us. What was it, a week or two ago? I had a session with the most wonderful woman, and it turns out she starts telling me a story about hypnotherapy because that's what she does that, and how she helped somebody with flying. I was like, oh, what? Oh my goodness. So I emailed her right away going, I need your services. So I'm going to be working with her. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know who you are. And I'm going to be working with her. She's going to help me through this. I just know it. I just know it. I'm determined. I'm ready. And I think that's the main thing is when you can get to a point where you go, I don't want to carry this anymore. This isn't me. I've changed. I'm a different person. I no longer sit in that existence. I'm not that sick person anymore. I don't accept this. I don't. So I'm going to take this beautiful spirit that's sitting with me, because in spirit, she's definitely a beautiful spirit. And she's going, "Yeah, you got to work through your own traumas." And I do. I'm trying to guide you through them. Why would I not work through my own? Because this is a very big thing for me. So we're all kind of going through this together. We all have something that scares us or paralyzes us. Because for me, this is pretty paralyzing. And I just have to remember I can get through it. I can do it. I can get through it. I can release my traumas. And I can go on a wonderful trip that I deserve to go on. I haven't done anything like this in so long. And I do not want to miss an opportunity of a lifetime because I'm carrying trauma from my past. How dare that trauma? See, I kind of get now it came through as a little bit, how dare it? I want this the heck out of me. So that's where she's saying, okay, get to that point where you're going, I'm done. I don't want it you anymore. I don't want to carry you. And that's kind of where I am because I don't want to live that life anymore. I don't. I want to go have adventures. I'm an adventurous person at my core. I always was. And so for me not to have any adventures that in my life, I want adventure again. I want experiences. I want to be with one of my best friends. I want to experience life with her. And so that's where my trauma lies, and that's what I'm going to work on. So I'm doing it right along with you as you work through yours. And we have support because mom's here, not, and it's not my mom. It's a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul who's with us on this planet. It, her mother, who's crossed over, who decided to come in during a session telling me this stuff, she's here with us today because she wants all of us to start releasing those traumas that she and our ancestors will hear those musical notes. This is so beautiful. And oh, thank you. I just heard like a chorus of angels. Toby was just barking as that was coming in. Gosh, I wish you could hear him bark on here. But thank you. What I'm hearing is those musical notes reaching the angelic realms. And how the vibration that we all aspire to, she's saying, are are possible. Let me say this correctly. She's saying as these traumas come out of us and our vibrations go up, we're matching, we're in the realms of matching those vibrations, highest vibrations, because we're pure and clear. And she showed this to me yesterday, the 2 days ago, and she's showing it to me again. As we clear these traumas, we're emptying the vessel. We're emptying our vessels. And she's saying, it's clear space now. What are you going to fill it up with? What are you going to fill it up with? Because it's open space now. So go out, clear the traumas, create those musical notes. And she's saying, fill that space with joy. Thank you. For me, it's adventure. Wow. Toby's in there going nuts. I think he just saw a bunch of birds land too, but he's going nuts. He always knows when to bark. Okay. I'm just seeing if there's anything else because she's thanking me for getting the message out. She's thanking everyone out there for listening. She's handing her daughter a beautiful bouquet of roses. She's thanking her for allowing this to come through me to you. And she's just telling me there are times when parents, loved ones, not even family members do horrible things. But she said, as we clear that from the other side, they can make their amends. They can make amends. Because they still got to go to do life reviews and stuff. But as we clear, we help them clear. Once again, she's pleased, let this be a very big fact that you're helping the spiritual realm as much as you're helping yourself. It's very important for her to get across. So let me just take a minute and see if she has anything else to say. She's saying great change is coming. She can see it on the horizon. That's why we're all being asked to level up, she's saying. Leveling up is clearing the traumas. And she's telling me that those of you that are dealing with physical pain, don't ignore your medical issues. But she's saying that in this time frame that we're in, a lot of physical pain is coming from trauma. She's saying that it's so important to release physical trauma because it will help you with your physical pain. And she's also saying as you release these traumas, then you start to really hone in. Is this a medical issue? Am I in pain because I had some old traumatic energy in me? Because that does happen. You know, those spots are traumatic energy that's trapped. She's saying just please work through it as you, even though it's painful, because on the other side of it, if you work out through the, if you work the trauma out first, the physical pain is easier to handle and the answers for the medical issues will be clearer because when there's a spiritual aspect to it, doctors almost have a hard time figuring it out. She's saying yes. That's why so many people right now have unanswered questions from medical professionals, she's saying, because we're dealing with a spiritual aspect so large right now. It's always there, but right now it's massive in our time because of our ascension. We're needing to ascend consciousness. And we can do that when we're clear. And she's saying not every single trauma has to be worked out before you do this ascension process, but the more you do work out, the faster you do it, and your she's saying the life possibilities become greater, endless, and more fruitful, she's saying. Any more messages? She just showed me an image of myself. I remember this one, I have this one memory when I was traveling at one point. I went on a road trip with a couple girlfriends. We rented a convertible and just had the best time. And that's what she just showed me. Me riding in that convertible with my hair blowing. Because that time gave me such a sense of freedom. I felt good. I felt free. I was able. So that's what she just showed me. That's what I can aspire to and have again by working out these traumas of my own. She's telling me she's actually thanking me for holding people's hands through this, but she's telling me that spirit's holding my hand, just like spirit's holding all of your hands. she's telling me, can you imagine the effect when you release this, not only in your life, but for your viewers, because it will have an effect. And I hope I can do that. I'm not going to put all this pressure on myself because that'll create trauma in myself. So I took my own advice and I told Rosie this. I'm just going to lay this whole thing at Spirit's feet. I'm going to accept the help from this beautiful woman that's helping me through hypnotherapy. And I'm laying it at Spirit's feet. If they want me to be there, I will be there because I want to be there. Okay, let me. Oof. Okay, I think I've gotten everything out she wants me to say, and it's very interesting. She's giving me one last image before she goes. She's like, I gotta run. I just heard I got a pie in the oven. No, she does. Yeah, she could. She's showing herself down on her knees, but she's got hands like, please forgive me kind of feeling. But it's not just her, it's spiritual beings. She's telling me a lot of passed over moms and dads, aunts and uncles, brothers, sisters that are there that, oh, wow. She's saying that it's the audience, my audience, their ancestors, their loved ones are behind her. And they're basically just offering love and support and how do I say that? I want to say forgiveness, but it's not, that's not the right, because she's saying, they're saying whatever traumas and hardships they placed upon us all, from all those loved ones, yours out there as well, they're sorry. In spirit, they recognize their wrongs. They recognize the hardships that they put on us. They recognize the words. I keep saying words matter. Words matter. Words matter. And so they are saying they're sorry for verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, traumatic events. There's a lot of animals there with them too, a lot of crossed over animals. The message really is they just want you to know that once they get into the spiritual realm, they become sorry. That's the best word I can come up with for their deeds, they're saying. We were only doing the best we could do. We all had our own struggles, we all had our own paths. A lot of our children got caught in the way. So not only are they saying forgive us and let it go, but they want say that again. They want our forgiveness, but the forgiveness has to come with the release of the trauma. It doesn't, oh, okay, I get it. Forgiveness is great, but they're saying it doesn't release the trauma. Get the trauma out. Even if, like Karina said, you have to yell at us. So forgiveness goes both ways, they're saying. They forgive us, we forgive them. They apologize. It's more like that than forgiveness, but it's an apology. It's that feeling of we did the best we could do while we were on in the human realm. Sometimes our best was horrible, but that was their path, their experiences, their journey. So thank you. I think I've gotten everything out. Let me just see here. Toby's coming. He can sense the spirits. He's, you see him, Tobes? He does. Oh, can you see him? Do you need to come up here? Okay. Are there spirits around? Come on. Come on. Okay. Toby can sense spirits. So I think that he's sensing mom, who I'm going to call her mom now, just because that's how she came through it as their mom, but she wanted to come through as mom. But I think he's sensing her and the people that she brought forward. Are you okay? Did you see some spirits here? Are they with us? Yeah, mom's okay. Yeah, we're working through it. They're here with us, huh? And notice how much calmer he is. He's not all wired and he's just calmly here with the spirits. You want to get up by the crystals? I don't, you can't get up here, Topes. Do you want to see this one? You want to see this one? You want to get down? Okay. All right. All right. Well, Toby does sense spirits just like I do. So he just kind of came in to make sure mom was okay because he could sense a lot of energy and spirits around. And he's just going to sit right next to me now. Not a bad thing, but he just does sense all that energy. So he usually kind of comes around to say, what's going on? Where are all these people coming from? Because to them, they probably see it, they see the spirit, not just feel the energy. So, okay, well, I think I got everything out she wanted me to say. Once again, I feel like that was kind of like this, but here we are, conversations with Karina. They tend to go all over the place. I'm just listening. I'm just repeating what they want me to say, and hopefully I got it right. I really wanted to do her justice today because I understand how important this was for her, for me to say this on her behalf. And she is giving me gratitude, saying thank you for that, and wishing you all love and blessings, she's saying. And she's saying, just remember the musical notes. That's so important for spirit. These musical notes that are words coming from our mouths, releasing trauma. That is really, really her important message. That we all know that as we do that, we are growing, we are evolving, our consciousness is rising, our vibration is rising. So we're all doing this together. I'm right there with you, releasing one of the biggest traumas of my life that's still with me. Not for long. Not for long. Okay, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here with me. And I hope that resonated with you because to me that felt like a very important, beautiful message. And I wanted to honor this wonderful woman bringing it through. Because on the other side, she's a wonderful woman. So thank you so much. And I will wrap it up and I'll see you guys next time, okay? So much love. Bye, everybody.